Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Richie Hecker with us. He is an entrepreneur from New York. His expertise is in finance and technology with a focus on financial services and media. He has written for publications including TechCrunch, Wall Street Journal Accelerators, and Huffington Post. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Taylor. Great to be here.
Of course, man. Great to have you here. Let's dive into the first one. The first one I got for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
So I started my first business when I was 15 years old. It sounds illustrious, and it sounds great. So I had an office when I was 16 with employees, commuting from Brooklyn into Manhattan every day. And it was kind of a ridiculous thing where I grew up professionally well ahead of my emotional maturity. So I had these very odd situations where I'd be at meetings with employees of mine, or people would think we're the same age and they were twice my age. And then you very quickly, when you're young, you get a lot of people that'll try to take advantage of you, and a lot of people that want to hang out with you. So when you're like a unique character in the story, you really got to be careful about who's surrounding themselves with you and why. Because there's a story value in associating yourself with a 15-year-old entrepreneur, especially when that back in the day, like 18 years ago when that was. So what I learned from that is it's not always good to be someone that stands out in the crowd. Sometimes you want to be quiet behind the scenes, execute well, and then attract the people that are great at execution.
Mm. And then what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Oh, it's all about the team. You can have a million great ideas. You can have perfect timing, perfect trends, capital, skills, and everything. But you got to ask yourself, like, is this person on the left of me, the right of me, in front of me, behind me, above me, and below me, someone that you're learning from, someone that's contributing, and someone that is adding collective value to the organization? It's very easy to hire people. It's very easy to hire people to do stuff. It's very easy to get stuff that gets done. It's very hard to hire people that actually get done what you need to get done.
Mm. And it could tie in, but then what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Hire people in the way that makes sense to hire them. So just because someone is very talented doesn't mean they should be your partner, or doesn't mean they should be a full-time employee, doesn't mean they should be a consultant. Figure out what the other person's goals are and how they align with what your goals are. This is very important at the early stages and startup stage. As you grow as an organization and you're bigger, people will align with the momentum. And it's much easier to add people to the team. But at the early stage, it's all about chemistry and alignment. And alignment is generally more important than chemistry. You could not say a word to your coworkers out of work, but you're in the trenches with someone. You want someone with the same goals, same timeline, same ethos, same hustle, and same mentality towards money. And by that, I mean like being productive with it, spending it wisely, executing quickly and efficiently.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Slow down.
Mm. And then, in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Slowing down. And then appreciating what's around you. So when you let all the crazy around you fall, and all you are is present in the moment, everything becomes much clearer. Your moves make more sense. Your relationships are better. You're communicating clearer. Just slow down and be transparent. And you don't have to try to conquer the world in 10 minutes. You can do it in baby steps and let it accelerate with momentum over time.
Mm. And then what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
So my favorite book is actually Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, and which is not a business book, but it's a novel that's just super entertaining and somewhat nonsensical, in that it's written in a very roundabout way that's super entertaining and tells this fantastic story. What's interesting and what I learned from the book is a little bit about storytelling. When you're telling a story, not everyone needs to tell it in a sequential way or even a linear way. So when you want to use the momentum and the entertainment, or if you took it in the context of work, use the momentum and the area of the market and where you are in that moment in time to let other people write the rest of the story along with you. So not, especially in a startup, there's usually missing documentation. Not everything quite always is exact. So you want to embrace that kind of somewhat nonsensical story sometimes and just follow the momentum, and you might be entertained and enlightened.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
Some people see things as they are. I see things as they could be. Some people see things as they are and ask why. I see things as they never were and ask why not. That's by George Bernard Shaw. Why that's my favorite quote? Because it's how I live my life. Just because someone says it's impossible doesn't mean it's impossible. Just because you have a critic doesn't mean they're right. So you want to look at, there's a few different types of critical feedback. You have critical feedback from someone that has done that exact same thing before. That you have to take very seriously. Someone who's been in your shoes and been successful, that's critical feedback that's probably right, more often than not. Then you want to look at, and I mean the exact same industry, same segment, like a total profile, and has executed successfully. But then you have other folks that are providing critical feedback that might be providing that feedback because they couldn't do it themselves. They could be jealous of you. They could not understand it. They could not have enough information, or they could just be wrong. And so you need to hold by your convictions, and then you want to make sure when you ask for advice, you ask advice of people who've done it before and have done it before better than you have.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for our audience to find and connect with you online?
You can look me up at Traction and Scale. You can find me on LinkedIn under Richie Hecker. You can find me at Twitter at Richie Blue Eyes.
Perfect, man. Thanks again for jumping on.
Thanks, Tyler.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.